Isolationism is when a nation separates itself from other countries in an effort to keep certain interests, like the political or trade affairs of other governments, at a distance.
Let's think about America. All right, so we see this poster from Harding's campaign, America First. And when Harding was campaigning, he said, call it the selfishness of nationality, if you will. I think it's an inspiration to patriotic devotion to safeguard America first, to stabilize America first, to prosper America first, to think of America first. Yeah, America!
Though hints of isolationism were detected as early as George Washington's farewell address, isolationism was its most prevalent in the 1930s, when the United States was dealing with the end of World War I and the Great Depression.
These three pillars of American foreign policy, neutrality, unilateralism, and non-intervention, dominated the 19th century. Forged by three founding fathers, Washington, Jefferson, and Monroe, they also are the cornerstones of isolationism.
This nation will remain a neutral nation.
Many Americans wanted to steer clear of international conflict of any kind.
America would be neutral. And with good reason. Better, Washington argued, that the US should use the natural barrier of the Atlantic Ocean to stay out of European power politics. And meanwhile, the US should concentrate on building the future of the nation at home. Just 5 years later, in his inaugural address, Thomas Jefferson set out a second pillar of American foreign policy: unilateralism, especially in trade. He promised his presidency would bring peace, commerce, and honest friendship with all nations and entangling alliances with none. Jefferson proposed to develop the American economy, especially agriculture, and to focus abroad on opening up new markets for American goods. 20 years later, the US was a rising power. The policies were working, but the eagle was still vulnerable, the nation still weak. President James Monroe recognized this fact in 1823 in his State of the Union address that established his doctrine, a so-called third pillar of American foreign policy: non-intervention. He would keep the US out of European business and wouldn't go out in search of monsters to destroy.
From its inception, Donald Trump's presidency has stood on his platform of putting America first, which has been called isolationist by some. Trump has continued to expand on what he means by America first.
But America first does not mean America alone.
According to a 2016 Pew Research survey, roughly 62% of Republicans and 47% of Democrats say that the United States should handle its own issues and let other countries worry about themselves.
Stories, often long forgotten, the fragments of which, words and phrases like America First and isolationism, can be wielded as weapons. But when we take the time to unearth the full story, time to understand it, we gain a new depth of insight about who we were yesterday, who we are today, and how together we can create a better tomorrow. Thank you.